Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Thiel, and I'm the author of 2012 and the Rise of the Secret Sect. Well, the book, of course, discusses 2012, and the emphasis actually is what happens after 2012. World events have already aligned with at least 23 predictions in 2012 and the Rise of the Secret Sect, and many more will as well. I'm going to briefly mention each of the 23, and then try to tell you all what 2012 is really all about. Anyway, to briefly go through those 23 predictions. 1. 2012, the Rise Secret Sect predicts that the US dollar will stop being used as the world's reserve currency, and many people, including the United Nations, have already called for that. It says that the Vatican is going to compromise to get others involved. The Vatican already changed its constitutional law to allow the Anglicans to become part of it. Third, the book warned that European power would rise up, and since the book came out, the Lisbon Treaty was signed, and now we're seeing more and more politicalization of an empire being formed over in Europe. Number 4, it teaches that the Obama administration is going to support the rise of this European power, and we've done that by sending Vice President Biden over to help get the checks to Czech Republic in order to approve the Lisbon Treaty, and also we've helped finance certain crises that Europe has had. 5, the book teaches that there will be a temporary peace deal offered that will be confirmed by European leaders. The European leaders already made similar peace offers in the Middle East. 6, it explains that the world in general, and Europeans in particular, are going to find it useful to increase the gold reserves in order to back their currency to make it more stable, and that's already happened. 7, it says that the Large Hadron Collider, which wasn't even working when I wrote the book, wasn't functional, would produce technology that could be used for military applications. For one example, it was not believed that antimatter could be captured for more than a fraction of a second. And the Large Hadron Collider has already been able to collect it for 17 minutes, and there's more technology that's going to be spit out of that. Number 8, the book warns the U.S. will greatly increase its debt, and U.S. debts go up by trillions since the book came out in 2009. Number 9, it warns that because of domestic and economic concerns and international pressures, Barack Obama would decrease priorities away from defense spending. That's happened. 10, it warns that for daily sacrifices to stop, as the Bible says, they have to start. And since the book has come out, the Temple Institute's actually put out a release showing that they've actually produced an altar that can be used for sacrifices anytime the Jews decide to do it. Number 11, the book warns that the Eastern Orthodox and the Roman Catholics may end up having an ecumenical council to get together to resolve some of their differences. And since the book has come out, both the Vatican has suggested such a thing, plus Patriarch Bartholomew of Constantinople has called for such a synod to be needed in the future. Number 12, the book warns that there were problems with the U.S. GPS system, and the United States would likely rely on Europe's Galileo system for part of the U.S.'s military defense. When Galileo was originally proposed, the United States and the United Kingdom didn't want it because we were afraid they could use it against us. Now we're going to jump in bed with the Europeans because we're more afraid of the Chinese. Number 13, the book warns that there would be civil unrest in Europe, and we've already seen that. There have been riots throughout Europe, Greece repeatedly. Number 14, the book warns that there could be sorrows and squatter rebellions in the United States. I don't know how many of you visited the Occupy camps, but I've been to 2 of them, and they kind of look like squatter rebellions to me. My book says this on page 127, 128, that this would happen by the end of 2012. Number 15, it warns that apparitions that some will claim will be married are going to be used to help form an ecumenical religion. It's going to call itself Catholic. And in May of 2012, the Vatican Cardinal confirmed basically that the great hope for Europe basically is Mary, which is consistent with the warnings in 2012, the Rise of the Secret Sect. Number 16, a book warns, based on Habakkuk 2, that foreign creditors will rise up suddenly against the United States. Since the book has come out, the German finance minister, Wolfgang Stobel, as well as a Chinese credit agency, says the United States is risking foreign creditors rising up against us suddenly and not taking the dollar anymore. Number 17, the book warns that Barack Obama will cause people to err and he'll discourage and not encourage biblical morality. If you've been watching the news, you know obviously from those of us who think the Bible is true, he has a different view on morality. He's already fulfilled that. Speaking of Barack Obama, number 18, the book warns that Barack Obama would enable the rise of a multinational leader in the Middle East that the Bible refers to as the King of the South. The Obama administration has already supported the Muslim Brotherhood in Libya, Tunisia, Syria, and Egypt. Number 18, book warns that China may end up with at least part of Australia. Well, as it turns out, in May of 2012, the Chinese told the Australians, you have to choose between the United States and China. What do you mean you have to choose between it? In October, November 2011, the United States and Australia made a deal to put U.S. troops over in Darwin, Australia. And the Chinese communist newspaper said because of this, Australia's put itself in the crossfire in case there was a conflict with the United States and China. And right now it looks like the Chinese would like to take over Australia, like my book warns. Number 20, the book warns there'll be odd weather patterns and natural disasters. It's the beginning of sorrows. That's warned on page 240. As it turns out, the year 2011 had a record amount of extreme weather, adverse weather effect occurrences in the United States. Number 21, the book warns that the rise of multinational Islamic confederation will form. Again, consistent with the prophecies from the biblical king of the south. As it turns out, in November 2011, Tunisia's prime minister-elect said that the sixth caliphate had just formed. It started to form. A caliphate is basically an Islamic confederation, and basically they want to go from around Morocco to Oman and get all of that area into an Islamic nation or empire. And who's the they? It's the Muslim Brotherhood and related groups. Number 22, 2012 Rise Secret Sect warns because some will partially rely on Shiite prophecies that Iran says point to Barack Obama that they should not rely on the so-called Imam Mahdi to protect them. Well, as it turns out, the president of Iran said the Imam Mahdi was causing a lot of the Arab Spring and that type of thing, and the Ayatollah Khomeini, the supreme leader of Iran, has actually told his troops, don't worry about the United States and Israel, the Imam Mahdi is on our side. And I've warned Muslims not to fall for that. And number 23, 2012 Rise Secret Sect warns that during 2012, some will claim that we are dawning toward a new age of peace. Now, this was fulfilled, interestingly, on May 23rd, 2012. President Obama spoke before the United States Air Force Academy, and using what I'll call New Age doublespeak, he said, for a decade, we've labored under the dark cloud of war. Now we can see the light of a new day on the horizon. Wait, well, the end of war, a new day, light of a new day on the horizon? Well, a new day on the horizon means the dawn. And that's actually what 2012 was all about. The world is not going to end on December 21st, 2012. So those of you who believe the Bible know the world's not going to end then. But what 2012 has actually been about is that there's been a lot of people in the media who believe this idea that we're about to enter a new age of peace, a true age of peace. And while an age of peace is coming, according to the Bible, false ages of peace are going to be declared before. And that seems to be what's happening in 2012. You may have heard about the recent discovery of the so-called oldest Mayan calendar. It came from the 9th century, and it says the world's not going to end in 2012, or ever, by the way. It has the world going on forever. In the world, we know it's not going to go on forever, so we know that's false. But that's got a lot of media attention to tell people, well, the Mayans did not predict the world was going to end. That's not true. Starting in the 14th century, with the various codexes, such as the Dresden Codex, the Mayans seemed to start to predict that they believed the world was going to end. And specifically, and I'm going to read from something called the Shilam Balim, the Book of the Jaguar Priests. So this is a book written by Mayan priests that I'm quoting here, and it says, when the law of the Katun, that means the calendar, has run its course, the God will bring about a great deluge, which will be the end of the world. So that's from the 1500s. The Mayans absolutely did predict the world was going to end. So what's 2012 all about? It's about a deception that people are going to say you don't need to believe the Bible, you don't have to believe the world is going to end ever, which it will. 2012 is setting people up to not accept what's really going to happen. An age of war is about to come, and Antichrist, antipope is about to rise up. If you want biblically based details of what's going to happen, please, I urge you to read 2012 and the Rise of the Secret Sect, and you can find it at www.thesecretsect.com.